Our next guest chairs two hot junior resource companies, Skeena Resources and Vizsla Silver, up fourfold and twofold since the start of the decade. Craig Parry, welcome to Kitco.
Michael, pleasure to be with you.
Let's start with the news. The markets are moving very fast. I'm scared to even talk about it right now. It's Thursday afternoon Pacific time, and who knows where we're going to be. But face it to say today, we've seen a lot of carnage. The S&P is down 19% year to date. Gold has fared better over the same period, but selling pressure has picked up. Craig, what has stood out to you in this markets?
Yeah, arduous week. And I think, today I think really full capitulation mode on a lot of names, probably unjustifiably so, because you've seen metal prices hang in there relatively well. You've seen the base metals off, anywhere between 10 and 20%, but doing okay. The standout, across all sectors has got to be the gold price, off about 5%. We're now at where we started the year. And so, it's fast emerging that gold remains the safe haven. And I think, people are going to come back to this sector in a big way. We saw that in, 2020 with the COVID washout. We saw markets crash, and then, precious metals did very, very well. Precious metals equities off the back of that. More so in 2008, we saw a really serious rally in all commodities and all mining equities come 2009. It feels very much like sort of, the dark days of 2008 to me. Not a full crash, not a full washout, but, I think mining, exploration, commodity equities have been way oversold, and today was the worst of it. I think that we'll see a rally here in the very, very near future. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, but certainly by the end of summer, I think we'll be in a roaring bull market.
If you are able to do some shopping right now, you do have some funds, you're able to take advantage. Given your past experience looking at these past washouts, is there any way that you should be looking at allocation? I think, for instance, that it might be hard right now for juniors to raise money for a while.
I think it's going to be hard to raise money. Look at here at Inventa Capital, our sort of head company, if you like. We've been trying to put our foot on as many projects as we can, particularly in those battery metals that we know and love, so particularly copper and nickel. This may make a few vendors a little bit more interested in selling at reasonable prices. They haven't been until recently. So that may give us a really strong entry point into projects that we know and very much like. I think personally, as an investor, I've never seen a better buying opportunity. Of course, you don't want to catch that falling knife, but when you see, some of our own companies like Vizsla Silver down in the sort of $1.40, $1.50 level, that's a screaming buy to me, because the metal in the ground that we've drilled out over the past couple of years still there. We're still going to extract that very economically, and so, the opportunities abound. I think it probably will be very tough for people to raise serious money over the next few months, certainly the next few weeks. We're in a fortunate position with all of our companies. I spent the first 3 days of this week, running around the fences, checking that we've got funds in every company, that we've just reduced our burn so that we can survive, whether it be the next couple of months, but all our companies can survive the next couple of years without needing to do a serious financing. So we're in good shape on that front. So it's a bit of a mixture of sort of, careful fund and project management mixed with looking for those next opportunities and the right entry price. So it's an interesting time, tricky time, not the best time. I can't say we're out there celebrating, but we see the opportunities out there and can execute on them now. So, we're in pretty good shape.
Talk about those opportunities in the energy transition and battery metal space, Craig. What do you see out there?
Yeah, so look, I think that the first thing we've got a number of copper projects where we're invested in Surge Copper, which we got control of a couple of years ago. We've got a couple of major copper projects up there in central BC. We've got some fabulous opportunities there. We've got over 1 billion tonnes in resources now across the complex at good grade for British Columbia, 0.5% copper. So we love copper, and of course you can't make enough of it. And I still think, look, I've been very, very bullish on copper. I think we'll see $15, $20 a pound in this coming cycle, and we're still a long way away from seeing the serious demand growth that is coming from battery metals there. Nickel, interesting situation, of course. We've got a nickel vehicle here. We've been casting a very wide net around the world for quality nickel sulfide projects over the past 18 months. And I can tell you there aren't many out there. It's very tough to find a quality nickel project. We're on to one at the moment, so we're working on a deal there right now. But you see things, I think, BHP, Fortescue bidding for Noront, paying over $300 million, up to about $400 million for that company. And we see that as an exploration project. That may well be the most expensive exploration deal that we've ever seen in the history of the planet. So, and of course, BHP has a very strong nickel division, so they know better than us what's coming. So if you can put your foot on a good nickel sulfide project at the moment at low prices, you're doing very, very well. So look, we're bullish on all of those things. I think Vizsla silver fits into that thematic as well. The electrification of the planet, you need silver for solar panels and solder. So, we're drilling out as much of that as we can at the moment. And apart from that, look, I've got one confession to make, and I think we missed the lithium boom. Unfortunately, there's some spectacular things going on in lithium, of course, and we can see that continuing. I think, generally in that battery metal space, the baby has been thrown out with the bathwater to some extent because of the issues going on in China right at the moment. Concerns about Chinese growth around their response developed from their response to the COVID situation there, and the fact that they want zero COVID as their policy. So that's upset the market. But again, that provides an extraordinary entry point into the battery metal space. There's been never a better time to buy, in my view.
Craig, maybe you can help us out here. So you're a geologist by training. You did your degrees in Australia. There's been a real difference between the Australian mining sector and the North American mining sector, whereas the Australian mining sector has just been bullish. They've just been pedal to the metal as far as battery metals go. And you did mention the bidding war for Noront Resources. There's a difference there, Craig?
Look, I think it's an interesting situation in that, Australia, of course, you've got a little bit of a different market dynamic. You have the superannuation funds where everyone employed in Australia must pay 10% of their income into a superannuation fund, and that creates a big bubble in funds under management by these guys. And when you start to see bullish conditions in the commodity markets emerge, they have to allocate. Those big funds start allocating money in a serious way into the commodity space. And of course, the Canadian and US and London commodity markets combined are outweigh the Aussie market. So you've seen serious fund flows into a relatively small group of issuers and companies looking for capital. And hence, it's been interesting to watch over the last couple of days. The Aussie market, Aussie juniors and explorers and miners have outperformed the Canadian market significantly because I think that, you're not going to see a lot of trading from those big superannuation fund managers in Australia. So, perform better. You do end up in extraordinary circumstances there where just before I came to Canada, I was looking at potentially joining the board of a company called Pilbara Minerals. Pilbara Minerals has got a fantastic spodumene hard rock lithium deposit there up in the Pilbara. I didn't join the board, foolishly so, and unfortunately, because they went from about a 200 million market capitalisation to a 10 or 11 billion dollar market cap today, making them inside the top 20 miners globally from one spodumene lithium deposit. So there's been some tremendous wins there, and once you get above about a $500 million market cap in Australia, you then see serious inflows from those superannuation funds. So just a little bit of a different market dynamic, I think. Capital here in Canada and the US flows much more rapidly, in my view, as well. So hence we've seen deeper troughs in conditions like today. But again, therein lies opportunity. I think this is a tremendous buying stage for Canadian equities.
Let's turn to those companies that you chair, Craig. Let's head up north to the Golden Triangle and talk about Skeena. Must be exciting up there, just given the M&A that we saw up there last year with the deal with Newmont as well as with Newcrest, looking at the spaces. You expect a feasibility study in Q2 for Skeena?
Yeah, we do. We do. Look, I'm really thrilled with how the team's going there. Walt Coles, the CEO, has done a tremendous job. We've brought Randy Reichert on board. Randy was Chief Development Officer for Clive Johnson there at B2 Gold. So he's built a huge, probably more mines than I've visited. So we've now got the building blocks in place to go and build that project. It's a fabulous project. We enjoy tremendous support from the Tahltan First Nation, and Chad Day, who's the president of the Tahltan First Nations, very supportive. Tahltan are actually participants in the project, in the company, I should say. They're equity holders in Skeena itself. So we've got everything in place. And as you say, by the end of, I think probably by the end of Q2, we'll have that feasibility study out. And it's a fabulous looking project, over 5 million ounces of very high grade gold near the surface. So I'm ecstatic for the team. They've done a great job there. And I think today we actually closed below, or traded certainly below $10 a share, which again is another extraordinary bargain and a great entry point for investors.
Do you expect to build the mine at Skeena?
I do. Look, as you rightly point out, there's been some exciting M&A. Newmont buying G2 Gold, Newcrest, the Aussies, more Aussies coming into Canada and buying Pretium. I think that's a fabulous deal, by the way. I think Newcrest have done a tremendous job, and the feedback from the Tahltan has been tremendous that they're doing everything right there. So look, we approach everything with the view that we're going to build it ourselves, and hence we brought Randy on. Shane Williams has been there helping build the project so far, and we've got Ausenco Engineering at the moment on the team as well, helping us out. So doesn't matter what happens next. We're ready to build it, and we'll build it. And I'd love to see my grandkids getting dividends off that project. But if someone comes along with a big checkbook and the right price, we'd always look at it, of course.
Lastly, milestones for Michael Conrad's Vizsla there, Craig.
Yeah, again, look, very exciting times. I think today we've got 13 rigs turning. We're well funded. We've got $25 million in the bank. Mike has done a tremendous job of building the team. We've had explosive growth there. I suppose we've gone from, just Mike and I and a couple of people 3 years ago to now having, I think, with contractors, as I mentioned, we've got 13 rigs turning. So huge team there drilling away as we speak, well funded. We just continue, as you would expect, drilling a high-grade set of veins. We've got 3 high-grade veins that we're defining under resources at the moment. We continue to get fantastic drill intercepts. Of course, we've got that very strong resource base there now, 106 million ounces of silver at about 460 grams per tonne equivalent, with a very high-grade core. So, when it comes to building a mine, that offers the opportunity to get very quick payback on capital. Of course, we own our own mill now. We're looking at other options for mills in the area as well. So there's a bunch of opportunities to get into cash flow sooner rather than later. Certainly, that's been the most exciting thing in recent years that I've been involved in, and I continue to be thrilled with how that's going. And again, today, I think, we're back from about $2.30 a share to we were trading as low as $1.50 a share today. So the entry point is phenomenal. I think the team and you'll see us buying stock as soon as we can here over the next week or two, because you can't resist a bargain like that, Michael.
Craig, thanks for the optimism on a rainy Vancouver, and thanks for speaking with Kitco.
Real pleasure. Thank you.
He's Craig Parry with Inventa. My name is Michael McRae, and you're watching Kitco Mining.